Well, hello all that are going to New York City. Can't believe that we're in October and that you're going to be going to New York City about a week from tomorrow. It's crazy to think, maybe even a week from today. I think it is, the 8th. So, hey, I'm not going with you. I wish I was, but I'm going to share a couple thoughts with you, things you can kind of keep in your back pocket, maybe even make some notes and write these things down. I know there are some more questions about the elevator pitch, and I even had some thoughts as Aisha and I were talking, I think yesterday, that I wanted to share with you on this. So here's a big thing I want to share with you, and I hope you'll take this to heart, take it seriously, and keep it with you, okay? There are very few things, and when I say very few things, I mean very few things, that are as big of a professional turnoff, okay, as somebody that is either a recent graduate or someone who's still in grad school that comes across in a professional setting or just in any setting in general as a know-it-all. You don't want to be a know-it-all, okay? You don't want to come across as cocky. Here's the deal. Each of us, last I checked, myself included, we still have breath in our lungs. I'm still alive. I don't know how much longer I have. I hope it's many, many years, but I know that right now I'm still alive, which means that I still have more to learn, okay? Which also means because you still have breath in your lungs, you still have more to learn. As long as we are alive and breathing, we still have more to learn. And so to come across as though we know it all is a huge turnoff, right? So I'm not saying don't come across as confident. There's a difference, as you know, between confidence and cocky, right? It's a very fine line, but there is a noticeable difference, and you may not be able to describe it or define it, but you know it when you see it. I know it when I see it. And so the ways that I encourage folks, students, clients, people in my life, myself in general, is to think about it this way. I want us all to come across, obviously, as very, and I would say it this way, competent. You probably heard me say, some of you, this before. You are competent, right? You're in grad school, so you know what you're talking about. But given the fact that whether you're a first semester student or a third semester student or a fourth or fifth, whatever semester you're in, you still have more to learn. And so you are competent in what you know, but you're also humble in that because you realize that you still have much more to learn. You're competent, and yet there's still more to learn. Because of your competence, my hope would be, my encouragement, my challenge to you would be that you come across as confident. But if you couple the humility with the competence, right? The competence, I know what I know, but I also know that I don't know everything, and I don't know as much as I will someday, right? You could even think of it this way. I'm not where I once was from a knowledge standpoint, but I'm not where I want to be, right? Or I'm not where I know I'm going to be once I'm done with the program, once I've learned this language, right? Once I've learned this coding language, once I've done this, once I've gotten to this place, once I've gotten to this place in my career, I know that I'm not there yet, but my goal is to be there, and eventually I will know more than I know today. But even then, as I've said many times, and you've probably heard this often, the older I get, the more I realize I don't know, because I have so much more to learn. So you come across confident, you come across competent, but you also come across with humility, knowing that you don't know it all and you have much more to learn. That's really important. If you can come across, I would say, humbly confident, it will make a really big difference in your interactions with people, okay? So that's not just at the career fair. It's not just in New York City in general when you're on the walk on Wall Street. It is at all times with all people. Come across because you are as competent, and because of your competence, you are confident, but in your confidence, approach the situation with great, and I would put it this way, intellectual humility, knowing that you don't know it all, there's still more to learn, and yet you're not where you one time were, right? Hope that makes sense. Humble confidence is really, really big, and it will make a difference. Okay, so you're, again, going to Wall Street. You're going to, many of you be at a career fair, I think 7 of you. Not all of you will be. So hear me, even though not all of you will be going to the career fair, this information, what I just shared with you then and what I'm going to share with you now, is relevant and pertinent to all of us, okay? So when you think about an elevator pitch, I know there were I mentioned some questions on the elevator pitch. We call it that because you typically have about the length of time you'd be on an elevator ride up and down, or I should say up or down, to offer up your elevator pitch speech. So first thing is this: practice. Okay, let me say it again: practice. And let me say it one more time: practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice does not make perfect, but it absolutely makes you better at saying whatever it is that you're saying. Okay, so go on walks, practice in the mirror, record it, watch it back, critique yourself, ask your roommates, ask your friends, your family if you can give your elevator pitch to them and have them give you feedback. And don't be don't view it as like, why are you being like that? Like, actually take it in, take the criticism if there's some offered, have it be constructive and learn from it, okay? So don't be so reactionary that you're turned off because you've asked them to give you feedback, because you want to make sure that what you offer in a professional setting is the best version of you that you possibly can offer, okay? So practice, practice, practice. It doesn't make perfect, but it certainly makes better every time you offer it up, okay? So does an elevator pitch matter? Absolutely, because it could be the one shot you get to say your piece, and in doing so, you want it to be memorable, right? So I'm going to flip this from kind of ways I've done this in the past, but here's what I would offer up, okay? So here's some tips to creating, crafting, and then delivering, executing your elevator pitch. Here's four points, okay? Write these down. Think about it this way, kind of 4 quadrants. The first part is your introduction, okay? The second part is about you. So what are your credentials? So my name is, I'm studying at, my degree is this, my emphasis is this, my background is this, okay? So in a nutshell, let somebody, if they be able to walk away, remember your name and what you've done, okay? Why what you've done actually is kind of opened up the door for you to be in this place that you're going to be, okay? And then the third thing, talk about interests. So what are your research interests? Okay, what work have you done? What papers have you read? If you were at Professor Longstaff's talk last Friday, you heard Kara, one of our PhD students in economics, talk about how she read his papers, and in light of what she read or what she researched, right, what she discovered in his research, she then had 2 questions. So my name is this. My degrees are in this, I'm pursuing this, my goals are this. I was spending time in class studying X, Y, or Z, and I'm wondering if this is an area where an internship would be an opportunity to work within your company, right? Or I saw that your company works with this area based upon this research that actually correlated really well with what we were working on in class. I'm curious if, and then ask a question, okay? So introduction, about you, credentials, interest, your research, and then ask a question, okay? In a similar way, I would say this. In doing all of that, here's some other points. Get to the point, okay? Get straight to the point, okay? Don't dilly-dally, don't beat around the bush, get to the point. Skip the jargon, so all the cliches, all the business, nonsense that people throw out there all the time. Let me circle back on that. To piggyback on that, don't say that silly nonsense, okay? Stand out and careful of your likes and your ums and your uhs, and just say it. Let it flow. And the more you practice, the better you will get at just saying it and letting it flow. This is when I would really encourage you to play it back and hear yourself saying it. I think there's a difference between hearing ourselves through our ears when we're actually saying it, and then recording it, on your phone or on an actual, handheld recorder, and then playing it back and listening, and you have a chance to then go, oh, I didn't even realize that I said that. And you can cut things out, right? Take some notes, storyboard things, do a narration, right? X, Y, and Z, circle where the things connect, and then talk about those things. Get to the point, skip the jargon, and in doing so, get straight to the point and tell a story. Okay, one thing you may want to do is when you're targeting, this is another point, target the message to the person or the people or the organization to whom or to which you are speaking. Do some research on that organization. One of the things that may come up in doing that is understanding and realizing and identifying what we'd call a pain point. So I saw that in 2017, your publicly traded value dipped below blah, 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 blah. And I saw that then you made some changes based upon that. And part of that was you had to do some mass layoffs, and there was some really hard things that took place. I actually did a research project on something very similar, and we identified some other key components that actually could remedy a pain point like that, right? So now you've targeted your message, and you've told a story. You've connected them. Quite often, you will have those opportunities, especially if you do your research to know who's coming to the career fair, especially if you do your research to know what companies you'll be attending as a group, and even what people may be there, our alumni and other, to connect with, to tell a story, to target that story, to talk about their organization, work you've done. And then the last one is this: have a call to action, right? It could be, hey, I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation. It could be, here's my resume. My hope would be that you would be willing to look at that, and if there's a position that fits the needs that you have and the skill sets that I offer, we could discuss the potential of working together in the future. What is that call to action, right? So get to the point, skip the jargon, tell a story, target your message, have a call to action, okay? Introduction, about you, your interests, ask a question. And do all of this. This is so important. Do all of this from a place of humble confidence. Do not come across as you know it all. Because, and maybe you don't like hearing me say this, but let me say this right now. You don't know it all. You know how I know that? Because nobody knows it all. You may know a lot more than many, but there are going to be a lot more that know more than you. The difference could, and I would say very well will be, that you come at a place of competence and confidence, but with a willingness, a desire to learn and to approach the situation from a place of humility and excited for the future and the opportunity that you might have to engage in the good work that X, Y, or Z organization is doing, so that you can bring your understanding, your expertise, but also realizing that you have so much to learn and that you're excited to partner to bring your expertise and to learn as you move forward into the future. Okay? If you have questions, even if you're there in New York and you have questions, obviously there's a time difference, so keep that in mind. But email me. Say, hey, I just had this interaction with so-and-so, and I said this, and I'm thinking that it might come up again tomorrow. How would you suggest that I do that in the future? I think it went well, but I think it could go even better. Email me. I'm happy to get back to you, okay? I'm happy to get back to you. But remember, confidence, competence, humble confidence, right? Humility, it's huge. It will take you so far. Knowing that in your back pocket, you've got a great education, you've got great support back home, you've got great support with you, and you wouldn't be there, hear me, if you didn't deserve to be, all right? So I hope you have a great trip. If I can be of service between now and then, or even when you're there, please feel free to reach out, email me, and I would love to support you as best as I can, whatever that looks like. All right, have a great trip, and we'll see you on the other side.